Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Today we have a brand new set of great stories for you to enjoy. Sit comfortably. Here we go. Owner condescendingly says, "Let go." And there goes $3,800. To preface this story, I need to state that I'm a shorter guy that's rather barrel-chested, large chest, ribs, shoulders. And because of this, a lot of clothes I wear are tight around the chest, but loose around the stomach and waist, making me seem like I'm overweight and wearing baggy clothes. In actuality, I'm decently fit and can often lift and move more than people expect. It's important, I promise. I work for a cosmetology school and am one of the few male employees on the corporate side, with the majority of my coworkers being middle-aged women. That being said, I'm often asked to do a lot of manual labor when needed. I've never minded this and never will. Anything to get out of the office. Last month, we were in the process of setting up a new location. Being a cosmetology school, you can imagine one of the most necessary implements are mirrors. Mirrors everywhere. Always. Anyways, the owner of the schools, who's an older man in his 70s, decides he really wants to help with moving our large wall mirrors to the new location. Not because I needed the help, but because the owner is a micromanaging nightmare on the go. Now, when I say these are wall mirrors, I'm referring to large 4-foot by 4-foot, bulky, heavy-duty mirrors, about 20 pounds each, that are attached to steel frame stands that the students use for clients and practicing. So I arrive at the new location to drop off the mirrors. I begin unloading them in sets of 2 or 3 and walking them inside to where I will eventually set up the stands for them. As I'm on the second trip, the owner decides that I'm 1. Not moving quickly enough for his liking, and 2. He knows a better way. It's dropping off mirrors. Come on, man. So he proceeds to climb into the back of the rental truck and begins stacking the mirrors onto the jack, while I'm inside on my second walk-in load. Owner: "This will be a better way to do it. We'll stack the mirrors onto the jack and take them all in at once." Me: "Are you sure? The ramp off the truck is pretty steep and there's 15 mirrors on here. All those in the jack will be pretty heavy." "We'll be fine. I was doing this long before you came along." He started the school 30 years ago and hasn't done strenuous physical work in the past 6 years I've been there. Me: "Okay, boss, you got it. Want me to be on the bottom so I can take the bulk of the weight?" The owner, jokingly, he can be a jerk, but he's not intentionally demeaning. "I'm a head taller, with a smaller gut and better hair. I'll take the bottom." Crap. Me: "Of course, boss." We get the jack to the beginning of the ramp and let it start to roll down. Just as the back wheels begin to crest the lip to descend, all the weight starts to shift forward. Before it could continue, I pulled it back an inch and asked again, "Are you sure we should do this? I don't know if just 2 of us can do it." "Man up, let's get this thing going. Want to get home, right?" "Yes, sir." As it goes over the lip once more, I brace myself for the weight shift. The back wheels go over, and suddenly I'm using all my weight and strength to keep this thing going down slowly. My face is red, arms straining, and I can tell the owner has nearly none of the weight held up. Halfway down, after several careful, shuffled steps, "Let it go. I can get it the rest of the way. It's not that heavy." "I have most of it," through clenched teeth, I say. "Just let go. I have it." I let go. He didn't have it. I'll never forget the sound of a 70-year-old man squealing in fright as hundreds of pounds of mirrors crash and break into the side wall as he jumped out of the way. After a moment of stunned silence, owner: "Crap." Me: "Agreed." Afterwards, he and the VP treated my coworker and I to drinks and dinner at a nearby bar. Now, as you can guess, the whole incident had, feeling a little aged, though he wouldn't admit it. It just so happened that at this bar was an arcade game. Care to guess? One of those punching bag arcade games where it ranks your punch with a numerical score. Basically, he saw it and jumped at the chance to try to reassert his manliness, I suppose. Well, the owner, the VP, my coworker, and I start taking turns. What do you expect happened? I beat his high score, though not by much, but here's the kicker. He was also beat by my female coworker. Needless to say, he was ready to play pool immediately after instead. And our second story. Neighbor's son's life ruined after messing with my father. We're from the South. Now, when they first moved in, we used to shoot guns a lot just for fun and had little games like who had the better shot and stuff like that. Well, they were from Cali, so they'd never shot or knew anything about guns, and it startled them. They asked us not to shoot during the evening if that was possible, because they host dinner parties quite frequently for their clients who are from Cali as well, and the last time they said they were all scared to death. So we stopped since they asked politely. We stopped at around 2 or 3 p.m. before the evening. Then they said they were leaving town for a few months and their son would be there, so if possible, they would like my dad to keep an eye on him and check up on him. Well, he partied. A lot. And my dad didn't say anything about it, really, since he was 21 and it wasn't any of his business if he got drunk, smoked, etc. But he looked out for potentially harmful things like doing something stupid, like drunk driving and stuff like that. And then the almost nightly raves started about 2 weeks in, and at first we didn't care. Their property, their business. But then it got louder as they built a party area not but about 50 feet away from our house on their property line. We then just asked nicely to keep it down a little since they came closer and we had a baby, the second of my 4 little sisters in the house, and that was losing a lot of sleep over this, and he acted all smug and said, "It's the country, baby. No noise violations out here." He went on to even say things like, "That's on you, bro, for having a kid." And before anyone says anything, I crap you not, the little P actually said something that stupid, then proceeded to say, "Your kid's health's not my problem, guy." Now, my dad is not a violent person at all. My dad's quite the pacifist and believes we can solve more with words than fists. But don't literally say, "I'm gonna ruin your child's health because I'm a jackwagon," and then act surprised when he starts moving towards you to beat your butt. Needless to say, he, like most bees, didn't try to fight, but had his friends jump in front of him whilst he talked crap. My mom talked my dad down as he had a can opener ready to open a can of whoop butt, and we went back. Well, my dad had enough, so he did what he always does when he would think. He lit a cigarette and sat outside and watched nature. He then, with a skin-crawling, gut-bubbling, devilish smile, turned to me and said, "Son, go get our guns and bring out the targets. Also, get the cheap ammo. We're going to burn through it." So being in a southern state and just right outside city limits, we shot our guns with extra cheap ammo all night long for about 3 weeks, 50 feet from them at targets, and ignored them as they pleaded with us to stop. They called the sheriff so much they started ignoring them and never sent another car, and even threatened to stop calling as what we were doing was very legal. My dad said the last time they came out and told them we are within our rights to do this, he said, "It's the country, baby. No noise violations out here." And that's true. It's all community regulated. If our nice neighbors asked us to keep it down, we did. That's what you do. You be polite to your neighbor. But this butt clown was the opposite of neighborly, and I doubt he could even spell polite. So we continued until he fell into stage 2 of my satanic father's trickery. He told his parents, "Mwahaha," is the mental sound my father made with his big joker's grin as he ran to get his house phone and call them to tell them that we were scaring them with our big bad shotguns and hunting rifles. While the damn party was still going on. And that was precisely the plan for my dad. You see, my dad played chess, not checkers, and just like a pawn, he moved and manipulated him into thinking it was his idea to call his parents, but it was my dad leading him in that direction all along. My dad, you see, he's a bit manipulative against people he doesn't like, and as a person that has done a combination of sales and hard labor, he knows how to read and play on train of thought and emotion. He could manipulate them into doing whatever he wanted. Well, El Dumbo, with his big ol' ears, fell for it. You could see his parents as Christians, they really didn't want him partying or drinking. So when they talked to him, they heard the music and knew immediately that there was a party. My dad very loudly said, "Young man, I need to speak with your parents about this. You reek of alcohol, and these parties are getting out of hand." His parents heard him say that and ordered him to put my dad on the phone. He then told them everything, but made it sound like the son wouldn't give him the number to their hotel. Before the mass popularity of everyone having cell phones, plus they were older people, like in their late 50s, which was true, but he technically never asked further after the first time that he did. He then told them about the state of their and our property because of this, and anyway, they were back in only 7 hours via flight. They were coming back that day, and that was a part of the plan as well. They found the place trashed. They not only apologized, but offered us a vacation. They owned some hotel in LA. I don't remember which one. It was like a 3-star, and gave us a 2-week pass, free food, etc. It was fun, didn't lose anything in LA, which is a very nice southern way of saying I would never live there even if you paid me, but it was fun nonetheless. I heard they kicked him out after that too, and since he refused to look for a job and refused to work for the family business. Best part is, since his parents were honest people, they told the dean of his college he was attending that they would no longer be paying his tuition, so if he doesn't get you the money, to drop his butt, and that's what they did. Future ruined, now working at the local McDonald's and lives in a rundown part of town instead of his family's really nice 6-bedroom, 4-bath house. LMAO. And our last short story. I told you, lane 2. I'm a flatbed trucker who hauls oversized loads. Loads can be over width and over length, but they can also be over height. Any load above 13 feet 9 inches requires an oversized load permit, and the Highway Patrol will tell you what route you'll be taking to avoid running into any bridges, which is a very expensive mistake. One of my coworkers was hauling a lowboy trailer with a crane loaded on it. The highest point of the load was the boom of the crane, which was 14 feet high. En route, he comes to a DOT inspection station, a pretty routine occurrence. Now, this particular inspection station had 2 lanes with an awning over them and one outer uncovered bypass lane. The DOT officer directs him to take one of the covered lanes, but the lane is clearly labeled 13 feet 9 inches. The driver starts to head toward the outer bypass lane. This royally pisses off the DOT officer, who marches up to the window, yelling at the driver, "I told you lane 2!" Driver says, "I can't go in there. My load is 14 feet high." The DOT officer, for whatever reason, probably ego, says, "I told you lane 2, you drive through lane 2." So he does. The lane has 3 fluorescent lights hanging under the awning. That boom hits them one by one. Smash, smash, smash. The DOT officer just stares agape when he realizes it wasn't a lie intended to get him out of an inspection. And of course, it wasn't the driver's fault. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.